Yeah. 7:30, I get those goosebumps every time, yeah. You come around, yeah. You ease my mind, you make everything feel fine. Worry about those comments, I'm way too numb, yeah. It's way too dumb, yeah. I get those goosebumps every time. I need the hype, throw that to the side, yeah. I get those goosebumps every time, yeah. When you're not around, when you throw that to the side, yeah. I get those goosebumps every time, yeah. 713, to the 281, yeah, I'm riding. Why they on me, I'm flying. Sipping low key, I'm sipping low key and honest. Rider, when I'm pulling up right beside you, top star Lil Mariah.
Binghamton, how we doing? Good. Great turnout. Thank you guys so much for coming. I drove peaks and valleys to be here to present for you guys, so I hope I can just drop a massive amount of knowledge and value for you guys, and you leave this presentation maybe in a different state than you were before, hopefully in a better state. So let's get right into it. So I know I normally ask what do you do for a living. If you watch my videos, you might know. But today I want you guys to ask yourselves what you want to do for a living, because a lot of you are on the cusp of graduation and might not know what you want to do. You might be in a different grade. That's kind of the point of college, right? To figure out what you want to do with your life. So throughout the entire presentation, just think to yourself, what do you want to do for a living? And this is how I felt today before I came to Bing. Is there audio?
Back to school to prove to Dad that I'm not a fool. I got my lunch packed up, my boots tied tight. I hope I don't get in a fight. Oh, back to school, back to school, back to school.
That's literally how I felt today. And I get that with like Adam Sandler sometimes. You guys see it? Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that. That was also my first video. I don't know if you guys have ever saw, but the one video that actually kind of like made me do what I do is I asked Adam Sandler what he does for a living, and he smacked me in the face, and it got hundreds of millions of views, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe I should just keep bombarding celebrities. Another theme I want you guys to keep in mind through all of this is that one video could actually change your life. One form of content can change your life. So, growing up, I always felt like I had a normal life. I was born and raised in Grand Neck, Long Island. I had normal friends, I played normal sports, I went to normal clubs, played instruments, got decent grades, good enough to obviously get into Binghamton without having to transfer. A lot of you schemed your way in here. Maybe some community colleges in their way to Binghamton. That's fine. We all ended up in the same place. I see you. So I did a lot of normal things to get here. Chose a normal major, things of that nature, to get to Binghamton. I followed the path. I went to Bing. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Both my parents are dentists or were dentists. They're in the crowd. And I actually came to Binghamton as pre-dental at first, thinking maybe I'm going to go the dental or medicine route. After one semester of pledging SAE and C- in Chem 107, I obviously immediately dropped that right after. And thought, what am I going to do next? What are maybe safe or normal majors to pick? So I thought I always had a business mind. Maybe I could get into SOM. Can't get into SOM with a 2.9 GPA. So I was like, what can I do in the arts and sciences school that's the closest thing to business? And I chose economics. It's fine to me. That's the only thing I remember. Joined SAE, Phi Alpha, for any of you guys that made it out here. Thanks for coming. Landed a sales job at Indeed. Made 60K. I think they were all campus my last year, actually. And had just a normal life up until the point I left Binghamton. This was me sophomore year at Binghamton. Thor, Johnson, year, sophomore, Bill, Fred. This was me, guys. Take it all This could be you too, you're sophomore year of college. This is my friend Danny Moran, who actually ended up becoming a content creator as well as a pretty famous podcast in Austin. And this was the day we actually thought of starting a business that we wanted to call Quickie Food, which then ended up being Uber Eats, DoorDash, and you know, all those before you know, food delivery companies were so big. And we wanted to take a picture to remember it. So that was me then, and this is me now. And this could be you too. This could be you too once you become a content creator. Instead of Binghamton, you're in Cabo. Instead of being 19, you're 29, and instead of having a frail body, you have a dad body. Very nice. So I grew up realizing like what is normal, right? What's the definition of normal? The answer is there is no definition, right? Weird is normal, and normal is weird. So you actually make your own normal in life, and as you go throughout life, you start to realize maybe the things that you were told were normal growing up aren't so normal after all, and there's nothing wrong with that. Normal is safe and boring. Abnormal is creative and impactful. So anything doing something great in this life is a little weird if you think about it. For example, Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey once had a really famous speech, I think it was at Harvard or an Ivy League school, should have been Binghamton. And he was talking about how his dad was the funniest man that he's ever met. And his dad ended up actually becoming an accountant. And he always told his dad, you know, you shouldn't be an accountant, you're so miserable, your job that pays you that well, you hate it. You're so funny, why don't you try stand-up comedy? His dad always told him he's got to pay the bills, never actually pursued his dreams. Ended up becoming a failed accountant and losing his job. And Jim and his family actually went pretty much bankrupt when he was really young, and he had to work at a very young age. So he has this famous quote in the speech: you can fail at what you don't love, you might as well take a chance at doing what you do love. Another famous speech by the infamous, notorious Steve Jobs, the late Steve Jobs. Steve actually didn't have that great of a reputation inside and outside the office, but you can still definitely say he's weird and successful, right? And obviously a great entrepreneur and pioneer to, you know, modern day society. He also had a pretty famous speech where he talked about life and what it is and what it's created out of, and how people that kind of created life in the society that we live in are no smarter than you and I, and that if you poke something on one side, something will actually pop out on the other. And what he meant by that is you kind of can create your own life and your own destiny, and if you just try to, you know, do something, one reaction will have a reaction, right? So if you poke life on one side, something will pop out on the other. And of course, Elon Musk. Anyway, life after college. Life after college still was pretty normal to begin with. I had 2 sales jobs. I worked at Indeed.com and I had a debt consolidation company that I worked in sales. It taught me a lot. It taught me how to communicate with people. It taught me how to be persuasive. It taught me the art of sales, which are all great and things that people should use in their everyday lives. But I ended up quitting both those things. I started an Amazon FBA business, which is just online retail, essentially. And then I quit that too. But before I quit that, TikTok came out. And I was selling a lot of things online. And I was like, what's this whole TikTok app that everyone's using, right? Let me see if I could make some videos and sell some products on it. And lo and behold, I made some videos on TikTok sharing like PS3 controllers and like Avenger backpacks, like whatever I was selling at the time. And these videos got millions of views and like thousands of people were emailing me and wanting to speak to me on the phone. And I actually made a lot of sales through my business doing this. And that was the emergence of TikTok. And I was like, wow, this thing is so powerful. What else can it do? And then, you know, 3 years later, I started asking me, what do you do for a living? Now I'm a full-time content creator with over 3 million collective followers, 100 million likes, self-employed with a 6-figure business. But the big takeaway from here is one thing always leads to another, so be present in what you're doing. And even if things don't make sense in the moment, they can make sense later. These are my platforms, if you guys haven't seen them. Numbers are really updated. We're almost 7 million on TikTok. I should be updated. What I mean by that is this is actually the first What Do You Do for a Living video ever. I am known for starting the What Do You Do for a Living videos, but I know if you guys are on social media, which all we probably are, there's 1 million people that do it now all over the world. And I like to say that I'm the first one that ever did it and everyone's copying me, but Will Smith was actually the first one to ever do it. We'll see what happens if you guys have ever seen this.
Man, I got 2 questions for you. What do you do and how do you do it? I'm a stockbroker. Stockbroker? Oh. I had to go to college to get stockbroker. You don't have to. I think of numbers, I'm good at people. That's it. Hey, you take care of it. Hey, I'm gonna let you hang on to my car for the weekend, but I need it back Monday. Feed the meter.
That's also a great line if you're ever trying to wingman your buddy. Hey man, thanks for the keys to the Ferrari. So that was the first What Do You Do for a Living video, I think ever, in a way. And me and my buddy loved that movie, so growing up, we'd always ask people in nice cars in our town, hey, what do you do, and how'd you do it? So if I wasn't doing my Amazon FBA business and then started making TikToks around that business and had that profile, and wasn't with my friend at that exact time when there was a gray Ferrari in New York City, just parked in the street with the driver in it, my friend would have told me, hey, just like we've always done, go up to that guy and be like, hey, what do you do and how'd you do it? And post it on TikTok and just see what happens. Thank God I took his advice. 24 hours later, that video had over 1 million views, and What Do You Do for a Living was born. So the point there is, just stick to your guns and always take advantage of what you're already doing in that moment. I want to point to this graph real quick. Yeah, I got it. We're in college, we don't like graphs, deal with it in every class, but it's pretty interesting. Right now, in 2025, as you can see, the average earning potential, the average salary of content creators or influencers is at about $65,000 to $80,000. And I compared this to doctors, engineers, and lawyers, which I'm sure a lot of you were in school for. And as you can see right now, the earning potential is way higher for anything you could get a degree in from Binghamton. But as you can see, as the years go on, it's expected that content creation will only grow bigger as an industry and as an average source of income for people that are in it. Within the next 5 years, actually, it states that content creators will have around the same average income as engineers, and then even surpass doctors by the year 2045. Unless ChatGPT's lying to me. As you can see, the average annual growth of content creators compared to engineers, doctors, and lawyers is at an 8.2% average growth rate, on average higher than these 3 careers combined. Pretty crazy. Is anybody shocked by this, by these stats? 1 person, 2 people. I was pretty shocked. So you might ask yourselves, why? I came to school to become a doctor, I came to school to become a lawyer, I came to school to be an engineer, or something else. Maybe you're in school for business. The reason is scalability. If you really think about it, when you become a doctor, lawyer, engineer, not only do you have to go to college to become those things to earn your degree, but you also usually need an institution to back you, right, to give you the job. Content creation, all you really need is Wi-Fi and a cell phone, right? Kind of insane. It's kind of like the only industry, if you really think about it, that's all you need to create a career for yourself. So that's why the scalability is insane with content creation. You can literally be anywhere at any time in the world. All you need is Wi-Fi or LTE, and you have a job. And then how most content creators get paid is obviously ad sponsorships, affiliate links, digital products, courses, merch, subscriptions, licensing. It's a global market of automation, especially with AI, things become easier. AI and automation will reduce demand for routine legal, medical, and technical tasks. Creators will thrive off human connection, and storytelling will become more valuable as automation increases. You're not limited by your geography, like I said. And now, content creators aren't even just content creators anymore. They're CEOs, right? If you guys follow Emma Chamberlain or Logan Paul, you'll see what they did with their coffee brand, or the Pauls with Prime, and the other one became a boxer. So it's really just a way to launch yourself and broadcast yourself to something greater. It could start as something as simple as reviewing grass, and then you own a farm. So my biggest recommendation for you guys, if you're interested in getting into this kind of career, is to start small with something you like and see where it goes, because Logan Paul being in the woods in Japan, he never thought, this day that he would end up being a boxer or a successful podcaster. If you know, you know. And yeah, of course, low cost and high upside. No med school fees, no law degree, no student debt. These days, if you're a very successful content creator, you could be making 7 to 8 figures, just like the 2 people mentioned. And by 2050, I mean it's going to be a more normalized structure, and the tools are going to be insane that you can use, especially with AI. By 2050, every product, politician, brand, and business will need creators to stay relevant. That demand will drive up creator earnings, just like corporate salaries for in-demand executives. And 2 famous politicians that you could definitely relate to that love using a social media strategy. Good old Donald.
And koala. I'm running against a koala bear.
If you remember in the last election, these 2 went on all the podcasts, which was the first time, I think, in any campaign history where president-elects did that. Trump went on Rogan, flagrant, and this past weekend, Kamala did call her daddy all the smoke in the Breakfast Club. And I mean, by show of hands, have you guys at least heard one of these podcasts? Right. And the reason they did that is because 1, they want the younger vote, and 2, it's the fastest way of delivering a message. Right? Like, who listens to the radio anymore unless daddy's got the new BMW with Sirius XM in it, right? That's it. That's in Greenwich. So social media is the fastest way, the fastest outlet to get a message out and to be yourself uncut. That's why these 2 did that, and of course Trump. I mean, most podcasters are young men, so that's why Trump got that vote this election. Applying social media strategy to any business can 10x your earning potential. Does anybody know who this is? Show of hands. What's his catchphrase? The Aki way. Sure. I actually met this guy before. He's really nice. This is the most famous deli owner. If you don't know who this guy is, he's the most famous deli owner, which is not something you could probably be able to say like 5 years ago or 10 years ago. But nowadays, anybody can become a content creator, and it can only increase their business. Like, this guy has over, I think, 2 million followers on Instagram. He's hilarious. He gets to show his personality. He has celebrity guests come to his deli and eat his food all the time. And now, if you ever meet the guy, you have no choice but to try his food, right? If you ever pass his deli, you're like, oh, it's the Aki way. It's that guy. Yeah, let's go in and see what happens. And now he's got feet in the door. Now he's got more business. So he's just a good example of applying social media strategy to unconventional businesses that typically you wouldn't think you needed social media for, but if added, a lot more money is then on the table. These are good examples. So if you're a dentist, for example, I follow dentists that like dance in their dental office. I'm not saying you have to do that, but I'm saying if you did do that, your salary would go from $170,000 a year to over $200,000, because now you're reaching an audience of kids who want to go to the dancing dentist because maybe they could dance with them and be in a video. Mommy, take me to this dentist. No one wants to go to the dentist, so might as well go to the dancing dentist, right? The deli owner, you saw Aki. The deli owner is making $60,000 on average per year, and you can make over $100,000 if you incorporate a social media strategy. And real estate's another good example too. A lot of you will become real estate agents out of college. I've seen it happen to so many of my friends who were like in limbo and didn't know exactly what they want to do, but they want to be in New York City. And with that kind of lifestyle, and real estate is just kind of like a really low barrier to entry field right out of college to make decent money. You add social media to that. I mean, look at Zhar. You guys know who Ryan Serhant is? I did a few videos with him in the past. I mean, he's all about social media, and I think he used to work for like Compass or companies. And now with social media, he's got his own show on Netflix. He started his own company called Serhant, and it's all from just creating videos of what you're already doing every single day. The opportunities to learn about social media and content creation is growing in this country. I actually looked this up right before I came because I was genuinely curious. Like, do colleges and high schools teach about it? Do they teach about, are there social media classes here at Bing? No, we'll write a strong word letter. There's still no excuses. Obviously, all the information is already online for you, and the best teacher, in my opinion, is just trying and failing. But as you can see, the number of colleges that are incorporating social media classes or content creation classes to their curriculum is growing year by year, which obviously says a lot about the industry and how important it is. So there really is no excuses. If this is something you're interested in doing, definitely act now and maybe transfer schools. What would I do if I could be in your shoes? And trust me, I would love to be in your shoes. I'm turning 30 in June. A wise man once said, actually, I would rather, I think it was like a rich man asked a poor man asked a rich man, you know, how'd you get so rich? And he said, it doesn't matter, I'd rather have your age, or something like that. So be present while you're young, while you're still in school. Everything happens for a reason. Like I said earlier, if I didn't go to Bing, then I wouldn't have had that sales job, then I wouldn't have started Amazon FBA, I wouldn't have downloaded TikTok, I wouldn't have watched The Pursuit of Happiness with my friend, and we wouldn't be here today. So everything happens for a reason. Be very, very present, 10 toes down. These aren't the best 4 years of your life. They're probably a great 4 years, and I hope that this makes you happier, because you're probably having a great time right now, but it only gets better. You're only going to get smarter, you're only going to get more cultured, you're only going to make more money. There's more to Binghamton than Sodexo and Rolando's. Okay. You guys should see this out of So, know that things get better, and if you hate Binghamton, it's easy to hate Binghamton. It's cold. Then just know that there's light at the end of the tunnel. This guy. Try working for yourself in your 20s. I can't stress this enough, because a lot of you are going to graduate this year, and you're going to mess around, and you're going to go maybe live back at home with your parents, or you start that job that you don't like right away. And it's never the move. I like to quote Gary Vee here. He actually kind of inspired me to have this kind of mindset. Do the most you can in your 20s. Fail. Do the job that you think you like more than that will make you more money. Don't work at all. Start a band with your friends in the garage. Like your 20s is when you have the least amount of baggage, right? You want to eventually work for yourself. That's the goal, because working for yourself not only is the most fulfilling thing you can do, but it also saves a lot on tax dollars down the line, because you could expense things. So, ask yourself, what makes me weird? This is a question I like to ask people literally on the street in my videos sometimes. If money didn't matter, what would you do with your time? If money didn't matter, what would you do with your time?
Sports, especially like with my friends.
What sport? What sport are you best at?
Soccer.
Okay, that's great. That's a great start. So, I mean, are you on the soccer team or anything?
I'll probably enjoy next semester, yeah.
Okay, so he might not make it to the MLS, but there's hope, because you can still be a soccer coach, right? You can still teach little kids how to play soccer. You can juggle on Instagram, be the best juggler in the world, get millions of views, and get paid more than the last guy on the bench for AC Milan, right? So there's a lot of different avenues. Get creative in what you like, and think about what you would do with your time, because that's the best way of finding your passion. If you just think we're all on the same playing field, right, where money doesn't even exist, we're all getting the same food and resources nonetheless, then what would you do with your time? That's what you're passionate about. That's your passion, that's your weird, and you can and should monetize it. Another thing you should think about is the opposite of happiness is boredom, and the opposite of love is indifference. When you're not happy, you don't have to be depressed when you're not happy, right? You're really just bored. And when you're not in love with something, you don't hate it, right? Because when you actually hate something means you have to love it a little bit, right? Because that passion will exist without love. So the opposite of love is actually indifference. You don't really care. So if you want to figure out what you do love and what does make you happy, think about what's the opposite of what makes you bored and indifferent. If politics makes you bored, maybe sports excite you, right? If hanging out with your parents makes you indifferent, hang out with your friends. But today I brought both, I guess. I needed a ride here. Think about what is the opposite of that, what makes you bored and indifferent. That's how you're going to figure out what you love and what makes you happy. In your 20s, you have no pressure, you have no baggage, you have no rent, you have no kids. Some of you might have kids. You have all your fatigue. I mean, you don't have fatigue, you're healthy. You got your 20s to back you up. You got ambition, you got creativity, you got resilience, you got hunger. So make sure in your 20s is when you're doing this. When was the last time you thought about Queen Elizabeth? When was the last time you thought about Queen Elizabeth?
I think she's on the currency, and then like Australia trying to change her off, and then replaces
Just like on an everyday basis when you think about Queen Elizabeth.
she's old, probably gonna die soon.
How often do you think about Queen Elizabeth? Even that, right? You said once a year, I think that's right. The point is, you got it. Oh, wow. That's crazy. So this guy thinks about Queen Elizabeth a lot. But the rest of you probably don't think about her too often or ever. I don't remember the last time I thought about Queen Elizabeth. And the reason I bring this up is because she was an amazing woman, right? She did a lot of things. She was an English monarch for 70 years. She even served in World War II, which I didn't know about till today. And she visited over 100 countries. Yet you don't think about her, right? She did so much for this world. Such a widely recognized and known figure, yet you don't think about her. And the reason I'm bringing her up is because you will die and you will be forgotten one day, just like Queen Elizabeth, okay? You will die and you will be forgotten. That is the tough pill to swallow about life, ladies and gentlemen. But the good news is that gives you urgency, right? And that gives you an opportunity to do whatever you want. You might not ever be as successful as Queen Elizabeth, but that's a good thing because that gives you the opportunity to do whatever you want, right? And even if you do become as successful as Queen Elizabeth, you will still die and be forgotten one day. So might as well do whatever you want because you only have this time to achieve what you want to do. And the only thing you could truly keep on this planet when you're gone is love and the experiences you share with one another, because those are the things that people can pass on for generation and generation when you're gone, without you having an impact or without even people knowing that you're the reason that's happening. That's the only thing that you can share on this earth, love and experiences. Why did I come here? To inspire at least one person to take that leap of faith, to do what you've already been mustering up in your entire life to do, but maybe didn't have the courage to do. And then if I can inspire one person to do that, maybe you guys can inspire another. And then that person can inspire another. And the list goes on, and there'll be a chain ripple effect. That's my why, for why I came here today. What would I do if I was you? I would figure out what I'm good at now, and something that you're good at and that you like to do, because if you're good at something, you might be able to make money from it, but if you don't like to do it, you won't stay consistent. I say there's two things that I'm good at that I hate to do, and that's skiing and taxes. That was a joke. But for real, I'm good at skiing, but I hate it. So I could never become a pro skier or even make videos around me skiing, because although I'm good at it, I don't really like to do it. I'd rather be doing a million other things. So I would never stay consistent with it. Think about things that you like doing and that you're good at, because those will be things you'll stay consistent doing and you'll make money doing in the long run. And get good at using AI. I couldn't have done this without ChatGPT. Let's be real. I asked ChatGPT right before I got here, what does the future look like for content creators in AI? And it said this: the future of content creation with AI will be defined by speed, personalization, and scale. Creators will produce high-quality videos, art, music, and writing faster than ever, using tools like AI editors, voice coding, automated scripting. Heck, I might even freaking be AI for all you know. Brands will rely more on individual creators than traditional agencies, and even solo creators will run like media companies powered by AI assistants. But as content floods the internet, the creators who win will be those who offer authenticity, storytelling, and human connection, the things AI can't replicate, even though I think one day it will be able to do that. The good news here is that anybody now could become a content creator and benefit off of social media and content creation. Because let's say you don't want to be the face of your brand. Let's say you might be one of the shy guys who's in love with Queen Elizabeth. You might not want to make videos around yourself, right? That's going to be fine with AI. There's going to be millions of opportunities in the next couple of years where you can still tap into the power of social media by switching your face, dubbing your voice, You know, creating travel videos where you're not even there because AI can do it for you. So if I could be in your shoes right now and I was talking to you, which I am, I would say, look into the powers of AI because that is the future. And if you can get good at AI, not only will you be able to master all this, but you will be a huge resource to companies that don't know how to use AI, and that will hire you to use it. Final thoughts. Normal never change the world. Do something weird. Start something you love. Focus on what you love and what you're good at. Make content with no plan. Learn about AI. And this is college, so I'm going to give you guys homework. Start right now. Literally, these are applicable first steps on how you can start to become a content creator or just creating content. Pick your niche, something that you like to do or that you're good at, preferably both. Make one short video every day for the next 30 days, quantity over perfection, and use your iPhone. You don't need any fancy gear. I have over 3 million followers collectively. I've never used a video camera. This is my first time using a microphone. Everything that, you know how many people I speak to who want to become content creators and they're just like, oh, but I don't have this, I don't have that. You don't need it. You literally have an iPhone and you're good. You don't have Wi-Fi when you're filming your videos, you're fine. You'll go home and upload it later. All you need is your iPhone. So keep that in mind. You have one of the craziest tools in the world, if not the craziest tool, in your iPhone, in your pocket, 24/7. If something ever inspires you, somebody ever inspires you when you're out, please film it and post it and see how your life will change. Thank you for having me, guys. This is amazing.